Well, I definitely believe the fight will happen this year. Seems like Jones is up for it. Seems like the UFC want it to happen. I mean, they said to Tom Aspinall, it's a done deal, it's going to happen. And it would just be such a shame if that fight didn't happen. I think it's going to happen International Fight Week, Las Vegas 2025. But what do I know? I'm not basing that on any inside information. Excuse me. I'm not basing that on any inside information. I know what you know. When Joe Rogan said apparently he wants 30 million, good for him. You know, I hope he gets paid that money. You know, I hope he does, and I hope he gets to see the fight. And if it isn't 30 million, maybe it's around that. Maybe it's 20 million, 25. Maybe it's more, like you say. You know, I think the demand for this fight will be there. I think it's incredible that in this day and age, we're talking about these kind of fight persons being involved in mixed martial arts. I said this in my video. When I started MMA, I'm talking pre-UFC, when I first started like regional level MMA, everybody said, if you're getting into this sport for money, you're in the wrong sport. And I was like, holy cow, this is the only reason why I'm getting involved in this sport. And of course, you know, I did pretty well. And now we're seeing people, obviously Conor McGregor's done fantastic. Lots of people in the UFC have become millionaires through the sport. And now we're seeing, you know, people like Jon Jones getting what was only regarded or what was only seen possible in like the high level superstar boxers, those kind of paydays. Now Jon Jones is getting that, and other people will be down the line as well. I think it's a great sign of the growth of the sport.
The fight fans have been dreaming of is finally on the horizon. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall in a collision of UFC heavyweight titans. This colossal matchup isn't just about gold, it's about legacy. With careers hanging in the balance and the division's future at stake, this battle promises to define an era. Reports indicate the UFC is set to shell out a jaw-dropping $30 million to bring Jon Jones back into the Octagon. This isn't just another main event. It's a seismic moment. In MMA history, brace yourself, the heavyweight throne is up for grabs, and the world is about to witness a clash that will shake the sport to its core.
Go ahead and hit you with this, Fada. There is no way that the UFC pays Jon Jones $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall.
I'll say it's not an overreaction, because I feel like if it is true that he did ask for that, which it could be, because maybe if Dana White called Joe Rogan, it was more of a why did you say that rather than it's not true, who knows. But I feel like whatever Jon Jones throws out there, it's natural for the UFC to try to bring it a little bit down anyways. So whether it was 30, 25, whatever, that's what was going to happen, right? That's what happens in the negotiation period. And maybe it is true, because now he called this pound for pound number one, so maybe Jon did ask for 30 million, not kidding, but like...
Oh, you think that might be why he called...
One thing that I'm really excited about was that spinning back kick. That was the one thing I'm really excited about. I have amazing coaches, and I really want to give a shout out to my Taekwondo coach, a guy named Paige Bates. We started about 6 months ago. We started doing the spinning back kick. He would come over my house 3 days a week, and I've worked that same kick from both stances 3 hours a week for several months. And man, I put a lot of work in with that spinning back kick, and it's getting faster and more unpredictable. There's really no tell when it's coming, and it's a devastating shot. You know, I didn't hit Stipe's liver. I hit him on the opposite side, but I mean, it sends shockwaves to a person's body. It can break a rib. It's just a really powerful shot. So I'm really proud of landing that shot after so many hours of working it.
This fight has been years in the making. Jon Jones, the undisputed heavyweight champion who has dismantled every challenger in his path, now prepares to face Tom Aspinall, the surging powerhouse who claimed the interim title with a dominant rise through the ranks. After months of anticipation, the UFC is finally bringing these two juggernauts together, setting the stage for what could go down as the biggest fight in the sport's history.
Is that the greatest fighter of all time, talking about Johnny Bones Jones, is more than likely going to fight Tom Aspinall, and more than likely gonna be paid around $30 million. That is what Joe Rogan was talking about on his podcast. And as we know, Jon Jones that kind of shied away from fighting Tom Aspinall leading up to the Stipe fight, which was an absolutely stroke of genius in terms of marketing because it drove the demand through the roof, sky high, made it the fight that everybody wants to see. Well, guess what? The man is going to get paid properly, more than likely. That's the rumor. Anyway, John's fighter of all time, talking about Johnny Bones Jones, is more than likely going to fight Tom Aspinall and more than likely gonna be paid around $30 million. That is what Joe Rogan was talking about on his podcast. And as we know, Jon Jones that kind of shied away from fighting Tom Aspinall leading up to the Stipe fight, which was an absolutely stroke of genius in terms of marketing because it drove the demand through the roof, sky high, made it the fight that everybody wants to see. Well, guess what? The man is going to get paid properly, more than likely. That's the rumor.
Tom, that would absolutely be the fight that the world wants to see. Jon Jones is probably watching this, so send him a message.
Hello, John. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for it.
You're calling out Jon Jones, right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the fucking boogeyman. When he fought Gustafson, he had almost no training camp. They said he barely showed up. Talked to Jackson about it, and Greg Jackson was telling me, he's like, he didn't even train for that fight. He pulled that fight off in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's when he really turned it up. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't even been training, and then you saw the real Jon Jones in the second fight. That's motivated Jon Jones.
Why can't he make Deontay Wilder money? I mean, you said he's the greatest of all time, right? So
being the greatest of all time doesn't mean you get $30 million. Being able to sell. Jon Jones has done a lot of things to himself. He's saying, in one of his tweets, he was saying that I tarnished his... I tarnished you? You've done a very good job of tarnishing you.
About, the history of it. Can you just talk about this year? You've had UFC 300, the Sphere. You announced the full card for Jon Jones coming back to headline Madison Square Garden.
Abu Dhabi card's badass, too.
You've had a great run of main events through all the pay-per-views.
How do you think Jon fights Stipe? You wrestle? I think he beats him on the feet and DKOs him. And then if for whatever reason, Stipe has a chin, bro. And if that doesn't work, then he takes him down and probably pounds him out.
I can tell you how the fight's going to go. Jon's going to come out. He's going to eye poke him like 2 or 3 times. And then he's going to kick his knees back a few times. And then do a little spinning elbow and then take him down and fight him on the ground.
I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to be sat front row to Cyril Gane against Sergey Spivak. I'm going to beat the winner, and then I'm going to beat Jon Jones.
I think fans are dreaming about Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall. That's the fight I think they're dreaming about.
yes,
I think that if Stipe wins the fight or Jon Jones wins the fight, the way that both of those guys are wired, I think they fight Aspinall. But we'll see.
And as far as retirement, the idea for me is to go out there and beat Stipe. How rude of us is it to just be completely looking past Stipe already? So the main goal is to get past Stipe. And if I can do it in a really dominant, devastating fashion, then the desire in my heart would be like, okay, now it's Alex Pereira. And if the UFC doesn't want that to happen, because ultimately it's the boss's decision, then it won't happen. And I'll just move on with my life. But that's one of the ways I look at it is, would you guys rather lose me or get one more super fight? And the only super fight that makes sense to me, not to everyone else, but to me and my team, is Alex Pereira.
Whether or not you would fight Tom Aspinall, whether you retire after this fight. I know we'd all love to see you keep going. How do you feel right now?
You know what? While I got the moment, while everybody's cheering and so happy, I want to acknowledge Jesus Christ. And I know that there's millions of people around the world watching right now. And I just want to let you guys know that Jesus loves you so much. That's all I'll say about that. And as far as my future in the Octagon, I decided that maybe I will not retire. And that I have some conversations to have with Dana and Hunter. And we have some negotiating to do. And if everything goes right, maybe we'll give you guys what you want to see. I'm proud be a great American champion. I'm proud to be a Christian American champion.
Confirmed, the plan is the winner of Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blades fights the winner of Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic.
Absolutely. Calling out Jon Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, Jon Jones is the fucking boogeyman. When he fought Gustafsson, he had almost no training camp. They said he barely showed up. Talked to Jackson about it, and Greg Jackson was always like, he didn't even train for that fight. He pulled that fight off in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's when he really turned it up. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't even been training, and then you saw the real Jon Jones in the 2nd fight. That's motivated Jon.
Well, you defend your interim title. It can be quite rare to defend an interim title. Yeah. Helen Brown defended it twice. If a situation arose, would you be prepared to defend that title again?
No, I ain't defending it again. I deserve. I'm in a tough spot because Jon Jones is going to come back in a few months. So the Undisputed is going to be active. If the Undisputed is active, I should be fighting for the Undisputed next, and I won't move on that.
Obviously, you called out Jon Jones in the cage after the fight. Very respectful. Have you seen his message and response?
Yeah, I've seen it. Jon Jones still needs to sign on a dotted line saying he's going to fight me. He can say whatever he wants. Saying stuff and doing stuff is completely different. So if you're watching, Jon, you're invited. Turn up because I'll be there. If you sign up, I'll be there.
You also talk about like the activity you wanted to fight. Name that's been mentioned, Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
That fight, you actually think that could happen?
If it's for the Undisputed title, yeah, I'll fight anybody. Fight anybody for the Undisputed title. That's what I deserve. I deserve to fight for the Undisputed title next. So that's where that's going to be our next move for sure.
If Jon Jones had a chance of fighting
Tom Aspinall beating Curtis Blades. Tom Aspinall TKO'd Curtis Blades in a minute at UFC 204. After his fight, he wasted no time calling out Jon Jones, saying, "Hello, Jon. I've got nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight, so I'm coming for you." Jon Jones has now responded to the call out, saying, "Supplying the mud at its finest."
On the other side stands Tom Aspinall, the UK's pride and a rising UFC star. After a dominant win over Curtis Blades and claiming the interim heavyweight title, Aspinall called out Jon Jones, declaring his readiness to prove he's the division's future. As Aspinall put it, "I've agreed to the fight, now it's up to Jones and the UFC." The stage is set for greatness.